All right, so here's an octopus, and we just want to drag this right into Illustrator. Just hit OK. All right, and then this octopus, and it might be a slightly different octopus for you, but the idea with when you're doing this, once again, make sure, because this is a brand new item, we want to make sure that our fill is off, and we want to make sure that the stroke that we're using, I'll use a red again, just something that you can really see. All right, so we're doing the outline of this. So remember, we're not drawing. So when we, like for instance, when we get to here, instead of following through on this, we're just going to get the outline of the shape, and then you'd come in later and do the background. But this will be a sped up version of this. Like I said, the couple things that you don't want to do, don't do this, where you're just like click, 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 because that looks really ugly, especially when you zoom in. Don't be afraid to be zoomed in. And remember, if you do anything that isn't perfect, you can always come back and do it again. But let's just go through this. So start here, and here we can almost get an entire curve here. So I'm just going to drag that to a curve. This next one, we don't want that, so we're going to click here to change that. Get the basics of this. And once again, if this is not perfect, it's okay. We're just kind of dragging and getting this into something basic. So if things don't look right, you can always go back and change the shape. And you can notice right here, I didn't go through that because I would then go in and do that later. All right, so I usually have my other hand on Command Z, so if things don't go right, I can always Command Z out of them. And once again, we're not trying to do this perfectly, we're just going through and trying to get this as well as we want. And once again, if we really wanted this perfect, that also doesn't mean that it has to be perfect on the first try. We can always come back later and remove those shapes there. And as you get better with the pen, you'll kind of know when you have to go back and when the curve's going to work for you. And we don't have to go out through every single sucker. Like I said, this is just a way of kind of getting a basic idea of this. Once again, not going all the way through, we'll come back and do that with the shape builder tool. We're just trying to get the outline here. And this is another thing where it might be a little bit weird. I'm going to go a little bit faster, and by speeding up, of course, I'm not going to get everything as perfectly tuned. It's just getting the basic shape of this down. So as you can see, what I'm kind of doing when I'm tracing this is I'm kind of going across the curve right here and then pulling it to kind of get it to the curve I want. I don't like that necessarily, so let me go up a little bit higher. There we go. To that. Same thing, kind of crossing the curve, bringing it around. And you just want to kind of avoid having any crosses or anything like that in the piece. And once again, take your time with this. Don't try to rush through it. The faster you try to go, the more potential you'll have to mess up. Don't be hard on yourself if you mess up. You can see I've messed up a couple times, but it's not horrible. But I've also traced this particular octopus about 1 billion times, so once again, we're not kind of going in there. We're just going to get the exterior of this. Not perfect, so let's just bring it down here a little bit. Nope, that's kind of ugly right there, so we don't want that. There we go. Once again, if you were doing this professionally, you'd probably take a lot more time, but right now I'm just trying to get you the basic idea of this. Once again, we were kind of trying to get this rounded. And so I finished that up right there. All right, so we've got that all done. If we flip this, you can see that there are areas that we don't have it in. And then, so to fix that, what we're just going to do is we're going to kind of create the inner part of that using those same techniques we did to do the outer part. And then we're going to use the shape builder to get that to work for us. This one's a little tricky because, once again, remember, you can always go in, like, I don't like that perfectly, but I know I can use my arrow tool and kind of rework this. So if things aren't perfect, you can always come back and rework it later. Don't get too hard on yourself. That's kind of one of the superpowers that Illustrator offers you, which is the ability to come back and do later. Almost there. Just get this last one here. And what's nice is if you have all of this as the same color, I can then select everything, Command A. You can see we've got a bunch of that, and that's just because I didn't do something really important, which is to select this and lock it. So if I go in my layers here, choose my background image, I do want to lock that. And now if I select everything else, it's all in red, I can flip it. And then if I use Shift M, I can come in here with my Option key. Oops, I didn't get that area right there. To cut out those little hole sections there. And now if I turn that off, we've got our octopus. There you go, guys.